semifinal.
So welcome, everybody, to the Wild Wild West. Alongside these untouchables, I'm Elliot Ness. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, Jim Mora, I'm Matt Nimberg. I'm not kidding. California love blaring right now over here. We'll get Palmer on the turntables at some point. But here we are in San Jose. Cannot wait for this matchup yet again. Jim Mora, by the way, drawing the short straw. Stuck with me, Joey, and Jesse. I'm sorry about this.
I'm honored.
So
I don't think I'm worthy.
Let's wait till we get to the hour show.
Lower couch. You're on the unathletic couch over there.
So he says. Going into this one, Coach, in terms of mentality, the players arrived today, 2,000-mile trek coming from Clemson or Alabama. What is it like right now? If you're the coach, what kind of tone are you setting for your guys?
Well, they're excited. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of excitement, but they have to maintain a laser focus. And I think both Dabo and Nick are great at creating an environment where they can mix in a little bit of fun, because they've earned some fun, and yet still bring them down to that narrow focus they have to have when they take the field on Monday night.
I think they're excited. I wonder how tired they are, too. It's been a long year, right? This is their 15th game.
They're kids.
You think about going 12-0 in a conference championship game and then a semifinal. I think there's a real challenge for the coaching staff, too, to try and keep everything fresh and not just put a great game plan together for this game, but to make sure these guys are fresh emotionally, physically, and mentally. Remember, Trevor Lawrence is a true freshman quarterback. He's never played this much football consecutively in his life. Is he hitting the wall? We talk about NFL rookie quarterback hitting a wall in a longer season. And then for Alabama, Tua might not still be 100% with the ankle injury. Christian Miller, outside linebacker, could have the hamstring injury. Coach has got to make sure he's close to 100% ready to go. So I think making sure everyone's fresh, to give it one last effort, as Coach talks about, 100% laser focus for the biggest game of the year.
And it's interesting because it's up to the coaching staff to have these guys locked in, but not locked in. You don't want to be locked in on Friday. You know what I mean? The game is Monday, because mentally, not just in a season, but this is the game. I mean, this is the one that everyone's been waiting on. And these two teams believe they would be in this situation, playing one another from the beginning, and now it's here. And so you don't want to be locked in on Friday, and then when Monday rolls around, you're fatigued mentally, because we know this is a mental game, especially at this time of season when your body is beat up. Nobody's 100%. Nobody on this field that has played this entire season will come out with a fresh body. But mentally, you have to find a way to stay fresh, and you can't get on Friday and be in game mentality and try to keep that through the weekend and be ready Monday night.
So essentially you're saying Friday, just have some fun. Just go ahead and blow it out in San Francisco.
Don't get too loose.
No.
All I keep hearing is, hey, don't go to
your routine. Every coach, every program, they have a routine, that 48-hour routine that leads up to kickoff, and they've just got to get themselves back into that routine.
Bet check at 11.
To go too far.
Of course.
We'll see. Maria Taylor and Tom Rinaldi covering both these teams as they've done all season long. Maria, let's lead with you. How are things going so far?
All right, let's talk about Alabama's routine, since you guys mentioned it. They did have practice today around 11 local. They went through all of their TSA pre-screening in Tuscaloosa before heading over to Birmingham. They're supposed to be wheels up about 3:35 Central Time, so in just a few minutes they should be making their way, you said it, just over 2,000 miles out here to California. Now there's going to be some new faces playing for Alabama in a very big and dominant role. Quinnen Williams already saying that as a breakout star, he's expected to come in and make a difference, but a season ago in the national championship, he only had 3 or 4 snaps. He says he remembers being around Christian Wilkins during the Outland Trophy circuit, and he's excited to play against some of those guys that he has a friendly rivalry with and hopefully walk away with another national championship ring. So the Tide, when they arrive here in California, they will have a welcome reception and party in their hotel, and then it's right back down to business, guys. Meeting time. Let's check in with Tom Rinaldi and meet up with him and those Clemson Tigers.
Maria, in opposition to Alabama, sort of hearing the echo of what Coach Mora had to say, finding that balance between the focus and the freshness. Clemson did not have a full practice today, just a quick walkthrough before eventually making their way to their buses. And then local time, 2:15, getting on the planes at GSP. They're scheduled to land here in the air now at 4:15 Pacific time. They'll make their way to the team hotel, have team meetings as Alabama will, and also go through a welcome reception. What do you do with memory? Do you put it away if it's a negative, or do you somehow try to use it as motivation? Well, for Clemson, it would certainly be the latter. The memory, the last meeting with Alabama, the CFP semifinal when they scored just 6 points. Cleveland Ferrell, their standout defender, minced no words. Talking to Gene Wojciechowski earlier this week, he said, "We got our butts whooped." And his clearest memory is walking off the field as the confetti started to fall. Held on to that through the offseason, studied that tape through the season, and now the opportunity presents itself again. Not for revenge, perhaps, but for atonement. Clemson has wanted Alabama, guys, because they want to face the best. We're just a few days away from that happening.
All right, Tom, thank you. It's definitely no country for old men. When it comes to college football, it's young men trying to strive, have success, and as you said, quick memories. So for anybody, Joey, who's having a little bit of fatigue on, all right, Clemson, Alabama again. All right, some of the principles changed, but still Nick Saban, still Dabo Swinney. What is the difference with this meeting specifically?
Last time we've seen these two teams, it was Kelly Bryant is quarterbacking for Clemson, and Jalen Hurts was quarterback for Alabama. And so a year later, now we have two great passing quarterbacks. Those two guys, very athletic. And Alabama switched to two in the championship game, and it's been terrific ever since. And then mid-season, Trevor Lawrence comes in for Clemson with this in mind, with the idea of we have to be a better passing football team to beat Alabama for a national championship, whoever they may face. And so this game now went from two very athletic quarterbacks who would beat you with their legs just as well as they would with their arms to two guys. They can kill you with their arms and might have to run after, but it's the passing game for both teams is completely different.
I think you could look back even before that, too. I think all 4 years these two teams have played each other, I think this is the most even the quarterback matchup has been. You go back to Coker versus Watson, Watson versus Hurts. Last year, as you mentioned, Bryant versus Hurts. I think when you look at these two guys this year, it makes it very, very unique. I guess good news for Tua. The ankle looked good against Oklahoma, and mobility is such a big part of his game, the ability to extend plays. We've seen the deep ball accuracy all year. We keep waiting. I keep waiting for Trevor Lawrence to look like a true freshman quarterback. He plays with the poise and confidence of a fifth-year senior. He's going to need that against Alabama's defense. So we look at this matchup. Every year we say the same thing. Probably the two best defenses in college football. Which of these two young quarterbacks, one's a true freshman, one's a true sophomore, which one can make throws into small windows under duress?
I agree with you. I think Trevor Lawrence is the best college football freshman quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, he's tremendous. I keep waiting for him to have that freshman moment, and it just doesn't happen. The poise, the maturity that he shows, the decision making that is reflected in his completion percentage and his low interception percentage is amazing. But I think kind of the unwritten story here is Clemson's defense is tremendous. And we all talk about Alabama's defense, and you're right, they are the two best in college football. But when you look at the Clemson run defense, it is spectacular. Now, can they hold up against, that three-headed monster that Alabama's about to bring at them? I think they can. Even without Dexter Lawrence, I think they can. So I agree with you on the quarterbacks, but that Clemson defense is the one that I keep coming back to. Boy, their pass defense is so good. Their run defense is so good.
Some vulnerabilities still in that secondary, Clemson corners and safeties a little bit?
It could be, but, they're still one of the top pass defenses in the country. And if they can get Alabama into some third and long and come after them and have some pressure. Now, when you do that, you leave your corners exposed, as you guys know, all right? But I think they're going to have to take some chances and come after Tua. And we've seen earlier in the year when Tua was taking some of those shots, Alabama's protection, especially that second level with the running back, not always as good as it should be.
Yeah, and certainly when it comes to the line of scrimmage, we saw just how much Clemson imposed their will against Notre Dame's O-line. Bullied them, pushed them around. Irish couldn't do anything with that. All right, still to come here on College Football Live. We're just getting warmed up here as we'll take a look back at what happened exactly in that Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. Decisive performances from both Alabama and Clemson. Plus, Justin Fields is going to Ohio State. That's the hot rumor as the man.
Trevor Lawrence down the seam. Ross again. Touchdown, Clemson. Lofts it up to the end zone. Juggling catch made. T. Higgins.
Once Clemson made the adjustments, they hit him with some big plays, and Notre Dame just had no response.
ETN explodes through the hall. 62 yards in a blur.
Dabo, your third trip to the national championship. What does this moment mean?
Well, it means we're going to Cali, baby. Here we go.
Clemson and company back once again. All right, let's turn our attention to major news here in college football. That's involving Justin Fields. He was #1 the ESPN 300 before making his choice to go to Georgia. Now the ex-Georgia quarterback expected to enroll at Ohio State next week, trying to get a waiver, and would obviously make things very different when it comes to the balance of power in the Big Ten, because it's believed that Dwayne Haskins is going to go towards the NFL draft. Seriously, Buckeyes are going to get Fields. Jesse, how crazy is this for Ohio State?
It would be a great fit for both. This is what ends up happening. Fields can't stay at Georgia because he's not going to unseat Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm's the alpha there. He's shown that over the course of 2 years. Fields going to Ohio State would be very, very interesting. If you've watched him play at all, granted in mop-up duty this year, he's a phenom. He's got a lot of talent. There's a reason he was the #1 player coming out of high school. 6'3", 225, tremendous arm talent, a lot of mobility. A really good fit, I think, for what Ryan Day is doing on offense at Ohio State with the run game, setting up play action and vertical shots down the field. With Justin Fields, I think the offense would look a little bit more similar to what we saw maybe 2 years ago with J.T. Barrett, more designed QB runs, but no doubt, very interesting to think about what could be in Columbus if, in fact, Justin Fields does transfer.
Yeah, not what the receivers want to hear. When you talk about going back to the J.T. Barrett, which was great, won a lot of football games. As a receiver, you like the Dwayne Haskins offense.
Yeah.
You like getting the ball out. You like breaking records for touchdown passes and yards thrown. But Justin Fields has the same lawyer as Shea Patterson because he's trying to avoid having to sit out a year. Now, you mentioned Dwayne Haskins hasn't made a decision yet. Right. So this is all kind of up in the air. Justin Fields should be getting to Ohio State like right about now so that they can talk through this entire weekend and try to bring him to Ohio State. If he does come there, Tate Martell is there right now. And Tate Martell's been there. He's been competing with this team. They know what they have in Tate Martell. So it won't be a Justin Fields walk in and it's his job. It'll be an interesting competition between the two. But if I'm a quarterback and I sat down and I watched what Dwayne Haskins did in this Ohio State offense under Ryan Day, then I'm saying to myself, that looks like fun. They're throwing it around. I want to go play there. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I think that it is an indicator that Haskins is moving on. He's not going to go there if he's going to sit behind Haskins. So he knows something that the rest of the world is just, expecting to happen. With regards to Martell, Fields is a different type of athlete. You're talking about a bigger, stronger, more physical guy. But Tate Martell is not just going to give the job up. And in terms of the fun of playing in that Ryan Day offense and the creative things that he will do with Fields, it's limitless. It's exciting, not for the rest of the Big Ten, but certainly for Ohio State
fans. There's maybe
fans.
a cryptic tweet by Tate Martell back in late December where he tweeted out words of advice: don't swing and miss, especially on your second time. Maybe referencing Justin Fields potentially coming to Ohio State, so we'll have to wait and see.
And you're right about Big Ten opponents. You're Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. You go, all right, Urban's finally moved on. Haskins moving on. Not bad. We got our chance. Maybe not. Justin Fields, good luck with that. All right, we'll see if that ends up transpiring. But when we come back here on College Football Live, we'll focus on the quarterbacks that we're going to be keeping an eye on Monday. Tua Tagovailoa, absolutely sensational, and Trevor Lawrence belying his youth with the Clemson Tigers. We're talking QBs next.
The touch that Tua has is miraculous. I've never seen it before.
At first, I used to be amazed by it. Now, we just kind of used to it.
He either could throw hard or soft. It just depends how you run your route.
He puts the ball exactly where it needs to be, to where only his guy can catch it. It's honestly beautiful watching him throw the ball.
He throws with great touch, really good ball placement, able to lead the receiver.
He can make whatever throw on the field. That's how gifted his arm is. He's must-watch TV.
Who has better hair, me or Trevor Lawrence? His hair flows, but I like more of a poofy look.
It goes up a lot higher than mine, so he's got that on me.
I just wanted something that identifies me, so I decided to grow out my hair, and now I'm just a tall black dude with bushy hair.
I had a buzz cut, so I just wanted to change it up, and I grew it out, and it just stuck.
When I get up in the morning, I get my hair ready by putting water in it and moisturizing.
I'm not really superstitious about my hair. If I wanted to cut it, I'd do it. I would say Justin has better hair.
I want to say me.
We joke around about it a lot.
Yeah, serious flow going on there for Clemson when it comes
Trevor
to their
Lawrence
playmakers.
very Todd Blackledge-ish with the buzz cut.
Back in the day that I said, you know what, I'm just going to grow this sucker out, why not? Yeah. And of course they call him Sunshine in honor of your favorite, remember, the Titans.
Exactly.
All right, as far as Trevor Lawrence is concerned on the field, 27 touchdowns, Jesse, 327 yards in the semifinal. As you said earlier, he's a true freshman that doesn't play like one.
Coach, if you had a true freshman playing in a game of this caliber, would you want to manage him? So many coaches would want to just run the ball, easy completions.
Not with this guy.
Try to get him in
Let
his
him
flow.
go.
Don't have to do it with him because this guy doesn't play like a true freshman. Great pre-snap recognition. Sees the blitz coming off the slot. He knows the safety is going to come down. Free safety back to the middle of the field. Watch him change protection. Move the back from the left over to the right to block the blitz coming off the slot in the nickel. Now he knows the safety going back in the field. He's blocked up. He has time to throw the skinny post to where that safety vacated. It's a first down. Also phenomenal anticipation here. Watch this wide field comeback throw. NFL type throw, throwing it way before the receiver gets out of the break, and the location on the outside shoulder protects the pass. And finally, arm talent. You just can't coach this stuff. Smash route, rolling out to the left side, keying the wide field corner. If he crashes on that hitch route, he's got Hunter Renfrow running the smash. Look at the throw on the run to the left. There are quarterbacks that play on Sundays that can't throw that ball as good as that. I think the fact that this guy is a true freshman has led this team to a 14-0 record, a spot in the national championship. To me, it's the most impressive thing I've seen covering college football in the last 12 years. It's remarkable, and he's going to have to play great against an unbelievable Alabama defense.
His poise, his maturity, and as you said, Jesse, his ability to roll to his left, square his shoulders up, and make a throw to the front pylon. You don't see that at the college level. You don't see it at the NFL level. You certainly don't see it with a freshman at the college level very often.
Yeah, and certainly when you look at what he's been able to do, it's impressive. Also the pass defense with running backs as well. I mean, it's all over the place, right, Joey?
Yeah, when you watch this Clemson defense with Brent Venables, their defense coordinator, they're very aggressive, and they'll come after you. And as I watch them during the season, and seeing these blitzes, all of a sudden you're going to blitz somebody, you're playing man-to-man coverage on the back end. At times they lose the running back, and that's the guy that these quarterbacks have to find when they come after you. This is South Carolina, who had a really good game of passing the ball against this Clemson defense, threw for over 500 yards. You can see there's 5 guys on the left, running back wide open, quarterback doesn't see him. And that's part of blitzing quarterbacks. You want to get their mind looking different ways and missing where guys are and not knowing where their check down is. And you can see again, running back wide open, nobody is covering this kid. And then this is Syracuse, a game that was close, a game we see Trevor Lawrence go out of and have to run the ball to come back. And you will see Eric Dungy here finds his running back out of the backfield, quick get out of his hands. We talk so much about this defensive line, how aggressive they are, how well they get after quarterbacks. And so if you can figure out where your running backs are against the blitz, when I play with John Gruden, he always used to say, I hope they blitz us, because if they do, we're going to blitz them. Meaning that bring your blitz, we're going to beat you in our man-to-man, and against this Clemson defense, a lot of times that's finding the running back.
John Gruden can tell you some stories, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Clemson rush defense is also pretty impressive, isn't it?
2.4 yards per carry. I mean, I haven't heard of that before. And even without Dexter Lawrence, they go 315 at the tackle, so they are stout. One thing that I think that they do very well is they give you multiple fronts. And here you see them shift from an even front to an odd front, which means they've got a nose guard, and then slant back to an even front. And so now all of a sudden the targets of the offensive line change, and we're getting, as Clemson's defensive line, guys free to the line of scrimmage, but they can also just hit you in the mouth and take up double teams. And I said, as stout as they are inside, now you get linebackers free at the line of scrimmage. They rotate the safety down quickly. We're using swim moves and athleticism, so they can punch you in the mouth and play two-gap. Okay, but they're also very good at moving and then slanting back and changing the targets that the offensive line has to find. But 2.4 yards per carry against, that's unbelievable, man.
You know you have a coach on set when they start talking even fronts and odd fronts. I played a lot of football, and when I got done, I had to go in with the defensive coaches to figure out what even fronts and odd. Yeah, you know you got a coach when you're going that deep in the football.
Route, post.
Yeah, exactly. What coverage is it?
Just give me the damn ball. That's what I was talking about. When it comes to Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa, 52 career touchdown passes. That's already second most in Alabama history. Think about that. This guy's barely played. In fact, he's probably those kind of numbers.
He might break a record.
Yeah, he might break it next year. What is it about Tua? Makes him so electric.
Well, I think he's a combination of Mike Vick's athleticism and Steve Young's poise and accuracy. And it all starts with the footwork. And you know this, Jesse. Footwork is tied to accuracy. And when you watch Tua's footwork and his ability to set his feet quickly, get his shoulders in position to throw the ball, and then the ball out of his hand with quickness and accuracy, it's unbelievable. The RPO there, that was the first play of the Oklahoma game, and everyone's worried about his ankle. He steps up and just a dart that leads to a great run after the catch. And he's a fearless guy. You know, he'll step up into the pocket when he knows a rush is coming, and he does a tremendous job, as you'll see here, of keeping his eyes down the field. A lot of young quarterbacks, when the rush happens, their eyes go to the ground, they look for a way to run. This guy Tua, he keeps his eyes down the field and makes great throws on the move. And it's a combination of getting his feet set the right way, his shoulders set the right way, and then getting the ball out quickly.
We talk so much about these quarterbacks, and Trevor Lawrence has had a terrific season. Hasn't seen a Quentin Williams just yet. Hadn't seen a defensive guy in the interior like a Quentin Williams. And this Alabama defense is so good when they can make the quarterback feel like they're blitzing while they're just rushing forward. The lead guy and all of that is Quentin Williams on the inside. It takes two guys. You can't leave him singled up. Any offensive lineman in the country that you leave singled up with Quentin Williams, they're going to struggle. And you can see Alabama's just bringing 4 right here, but they get there so fast, it feels like a blitz. 7 guys in coverage. Once again, they try to do it with one guy. He's going to dominate this guy. He's going to stand him up. He's going to be waiting in the hole wherever the running back is going. Quentin Williams is going to be sitting there waiting on him. And then you'll watch it again, the quickness. He's offset. One guy, the other guy was going to come, but he beat the first guy so fast, the double team couldn't get there. The other guy came here like, what? So when I watch Quentin Williams play, you got to bring 2 guys. When you don't, when I watched the Oklahoma game, even when they brought 2 guys, he was in the backfield. And that's what they do at Alabama. They can bring that forward, and they can get there, and they play 7 in coverage. Tough to deal with.
I think Williams is the most disruptive, dominant defensive player I've seen on tape this year. But to win this game, I think Alabama is also going to have to be really good in coverage on the back end against Trevor Lawrence. That was a big question mark for them at the start of the year. They lost all their DBs to the NFL, but they've got talent. They've recruited well. Deontay Thompson at free safety is so fast and has so much range. Against Louisville, Puma pass trying to drop in a go route. Watch the safety cover 18.5 yards easily, make this interception. Phenomenal range, but it's not just DBs. Linebackers too. Mac Wilson here on 3rd and long, matched up one-on-one with the receiver, running down the middle of the field. You love this matchup if you're Joe Burrow, but look at the athleticism and his ability to climb the ladder and make this interception. They're also really, really good in the nickel. Shaheem Carter taking over from Minka Fitzpatrick a year ago against Georgia. Critical down and distance, 2-man situation, able to undercut the route and knock it away. I think the key matchup we all have to watch in this game is true freshman cornerback Patrick Surtain, who got picked on a little bit against CeeDee Lamb in Oklahoma in the semifinal. They went after him, and we know watching Clemson, they love throwing go routes. They've got T. Higgins, Justin Ross. They're 6'4", long arms. They can move their bodies in air, high point the football. You know in this game, Patrick Surtain is going to get tried on go routes to the outside. You have to be able to hit those types of throws against this Alabama defense.
What about Amari Rodgers? You never give the shorter, fast guy any credit.
You can throw him a hitch or an RPO. We're throwing the go routes against the short, fast guy to the big tall guys.
Let's see what happens. Clemson right now, #1 defensive efficiency, and Alabama's #2. And I'm with Joey. Give some love to the little guys. All right, coming up next here on College Football Live. Excuse me, before we get to that in a second. Actually,
Play is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Spend your life living.
How beautiful is Pebble Beach? Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Keep pushing day in and day out on the field and on tires you can trust to help you go the distance. Goodyear, more driven. Let's send it over to Jonathan Velma and Greg McElroy visiting the 2 remaining fans left in the ESPN billboard here in San Jose. This is going to be fun.
Got a book. Hello, how you doing?
How are y'all doing?
I'm doing great. I'm Jonathan.
Nice to meet you. I just use hand sanitizer.
Oh, you must be Nancy.
I am Nancy. Nice to meet you.
Elias, how you doing, man?
Good.
Elias? Elias. All right, good. Didn't want to mess up.
Really? Get you.
Okay, fair enough. You know what? It was a good warm-up for the workout. Wasn't too bad. All right. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. So this is your...
This is our home.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Talk to us about this.
That, obviously, Clemson, Alabama, so that's my tent.
I thought you were a smart guy.
I saw the Clemson pile over there, so I was a little confused.
No, I decorated for the whole thing. I came prepared.
So how do you guys connect with the world?
There's a GoPro.
Okay.
There's cameras on each end, and we're live, and there's one across that way as well. And we're live streamed on ESPN3.
Oh, all right.
All the time. So we have a little talk show at night and answer questions.
About like any card games or anything?
We have card games. So we're going to give you a couple challenges while you're up here so you can see how we've been
all right.
doing all the things.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I like that.
I can get a warm-up,
We'll
right?
give them each a warm-up shot.
There it is.
Cut.
Oh, wow. Score.
He's a damn quarterback. I mean, what is this?
This is a good one here.
Oh, yeah. It's a flagpole toss. We've been having a lot of fun with this game.
God, it's actually kind of a ways out there.
This game is addictive.
This is really hard. Oh, got it.
It's addicting, isn't it?
Oh, you're still on the football.
Yeah, I'm still on the football.
He's going back at the football again.
Oh!
Did you get it?
No, it was right over it. Oh, that's all. That one doesn't count.
All right, y'all let her rip.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want to see me throw the football.
I was taught, well, as soon as you make it, you walk away.
Okay.
So I might be done.
This sucks.
Got it. Oh,
Oh,
you
man.
A little left to right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Long. That counts. That
And you
counts.
drop off soccer
that's a good
balls
one.
into the...
There we go.
There
Got
you
it.
go.
There you
Score this way.
It really is.
You guys are
Yeah.
on something, man.
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you for
Hey,
coming
good luck
by.
to your team on
Thank
Monday.
you. We're
Absolutely.
early. Thank you.
Yes, yes, we are. Yes,
All right, man.
Nice meeting
Let's get it
you.
done
Yeah,
on Monday.
we'll be there. We'll be there. So, yeah,
Give it like a
You're obviously good.
like a very presidential, like Queen wave.
I know.
I just want to find out if JV and Greg like brought gifts or something. Just 9 days they were there. It's unbelievable. You can follow their adventure on the ESPN Billboard and E3 through January 7th, streaming live right now. Very cool stuff there. All right, let's take a look at From Plan to Play, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. And Jalen Hurts' critical play with his touchdown run in the SEC championship game. Tua Tagovailoa had been incredible all season long, but Hurts coming in after Tua was hurt, leading them to victory against the Georgia Bulldogs in what had been their biggest, stiffest test of the year. Greg McElroy, Gene Chizik, Tim Tebow, David Pollack on the SEC dominance.
Then we're here, Tim Tebow, Heisman Trophy winner, Dave Pollack, and of course, the national championship winning head coach, Gene Chizik. What accolade do you want me to say for you?
I'm good. I'm just here.
You're good? Dave Pollack, ESPN Zone, and a former...
Just go with monster.
Former Georgia Bulldog. All of us obviously very familiar with the Southeastern Conference, and there's been kind of a debate now, Dave. Is the SEC still the premier conference in college football, or is it a one-team league?
Well, I think it's been a one-team league. I think you could say that. Alabama's carried the baton for the last several years. Now, that changed, I think, 2 years ago with Kirby Smart and company. I mean, they took them to overtime. They won the SEC. The Georgia Bulldogs did. This year, gave Alabama the best game. I think it's a two-team race. But I'll say this: I think it's two teams now that are at the top.
Yeah.
I think more's coming. I think A&M is going to be a team in the future that's going to be a team to be reckoned with. And I think the league is obviously strong. It's still the best conference in college football, but you have to say Alabama carried the baton for a number of years.
To me, I always, guys, look at lines of scrimmage. That's the bottom line. When I look at other teams play, I don't see the same lines of scrimmage. Yeah. And again, yes, there were some teams that took a step back this year. You know, if you remember last year, Auburn gave Alabama, obviously, their only loss of the year. You know, Georgia, obviously, has really kind of closed the gap on Alabama. But there's other teams, too, guys. There's two teams in the East that have changed everything, okay? Look what Mark Stoops has done, because you talk about the entire league. Mark Stoops, 10 wins. Great win against Penn State, correct? Let's not forget about Dan Mullen at Florida, right? Yep. What has he done? 10 wins there, too. And then Jimbo in the West, which Dave mentioned, I still think it's the best team in the country.
Yeah, it's Bama, Georgia right now, but A&M and Florida are coming.
Yeah, there are other teams that are making moves, and I agree with both of you guys. Yes, Bama is carrying the baton, but other teams are making up for it. And if you compare conferences, okay, who's the second best team? Big Ten, all right? Probably a Michigan team that got beat pretty bad against Florida. I think the best argument would be Big 12 right now, but they don't have the depth, they don't have the line of scrimmage, and they don't have the defenses. Although I will say, I think from top to bottom, their offenses are better than anyone's.
Yeah, they can move on offense. No denying that. Look, if Alabama wins, they'll become the first 15-0 team in college football history. Now, Nick Saban's had a lot of really good football teams, no denying that. But would you say that with a win on Monday, this is Nick Saban's best?
I don't know. Honestly, I think your team that won it was
thank you, buddy. I was
really
hoping
good,
you'd say that.
Was
yes,
a really good team.
Nope.
I think that.
Disagree.
I mean, there's so much better at the quarterback spot. It's ridiculous.
Slight upgrade there.
I think that this team, honestly, is their best offense. I don't think it's their best defense. I think they've had a couple better defenses, but this team has something special as a whole. The way they were able to dominate the regular season and the way they were able to come back against Georgia, I think it might be the best story. So was it the yes or no? I didn't
get it from that. Yeah, a lot of syrup with that waffle. No, it's not. I think it is. I think when you have a quarterback and weapons, this is a complete offense. I mean, Alabama, every single year we go, they got to run the football to be successful. This isn't like that now. And here's the thing. How many times in the Nick Saban era have we had a guy that was maybe more popular than Nick? Because when you say the name Tua, things change.
Yes.
And it changed everything for this team. This, to me, is by far, it's not the best defense. I completely agree. But because of what they have on offense, this is the best Nick Saban team.
Let's talk about great defenses. We say it's not as good as they've been, but if you go and look, they're still in the top 10 in just about every category that matters instead of 1 and 2. And then, look, they've got an elite quarterback with elite players around him, a better receiving core than they've had ever. 5 guys, average 17 yards a catch or more. Just in perspective, teams are lucky to have 2.
Yeah.
They got
By the way,
5.
you didn't even mention their running backs.
Yeah.
Which, pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty solid
Pretty
group.
good.
It's a ridiculous team, no doubt. And I'm with you. I think this is Alabama's best team. I really believe that. And
they've had some good
unfortunately,
ones.
it hurts for me to say it's because of the quarterback. We'll find out if they do, in fact, become 15-0 Monday night against Clemson.
Come on, G-Mac, do not sell yourself short. Thank you so much, fellas. Appreciate that look at the SEC. Let's take a look at our Progressive Bowl Cup Challenge. Conference USA has locked up the best record by going 4-2 in its bowl games this year. SEC and ACC both represented in Monday's title game, but only went to combine 11-10 in bowls. Give it up for the Mountain West as well. Sun Belt looking good there, too. All right, still to come here on College Football Live. We'll focus in on the coaches. Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban, the rematch, how both of these coaches have built powerhouses at their respective schools.
Him and he in them.
Well, Clemson was always a good football program, but Dabo Swinney definitely translated and transformed this team into a contender. They've won over 79% of games since he's been there, 8 10-win seasons, and 4 straight playoff appearances. How about this cavalcade of characters? Jesse and Joyce Dinner, but Jonathan Vilma now in the house. You visited a billboard, and all of a sudden you made your way down here. And I swear I saw you at Blue Nile. I saw you at Blue Nile.
I was at Blue Nile. I flew over from there, went straight there, and came right here.
You're the mayor of Miami and New Orleans.
No, quite. We are going to get some Saints talking at some point because JV is here.
Yeah.
But let's focus first at college football and Dabo. Seriously, 10 years ago, you think of the Clemson Tigers, they used to be viewed derisively. People would make jokes about Clemsoning, underachieving. Now they're a powerhouse. How did Dabo do it?
Dabo did it first by instilling discipline. That was the biggest thing, because when I was a player in the NFL, we always talked about Clemson players being very athletic and being equally undisciplined. And the first thing he did was start to tighten up the locker room and tighten up the players. And that's what now transcended onto the playing field, because they wouldn't make the bonehead mistakes. They would go out there and they would win, and they would make the right plays and perform. I mean, given if Florida State didn't have Jameis Winston for 2 of those years, you would see Clemson, we'd be talking about them potentially being in the national title hunt in those years as well. And it's all started with Dabo Swinney instilling the discipline, still getting those great players, and continuing to perform.
They've become very Alabama-like, and that's the ability to coach from the top down. Now you are the best team, and everybody's going to give you their best shot every weekend, and can you win? We expected this team to be undefeated at this point in the season, and they are. And I think more importantly, in the last week, with Dexter Lawrence getting suspended, now all of a sudden you're taking away focus from playing football, and you're talking about Dexter Lawrence being suspended. Your coaches have to talk about it. Your players have to talk about it. And lack of focus kills football teams. And so through that distraction, this team turned in their best performance of the season against the third-ranked team in the country. So impressive what they've been able to do with the discipline, the focus, go out, win each and every week, and now they have one game left
Joey,
to really fulfill it.
Each game, Clemson has gotten better. Remember, we saw them against Texas A&M, and we said the secondary, too many busts. They won't be able to handle it on the big stage. They gotten better and better each game to that point.
I think in the big picture, too, it's about just changing the expectation at Clemson, where players and fans now expect them to win. And I think it goes beyond just recruiting, and they've got a lot of talent, but when you win championships, you recruit better players. What about some of the staff moves that Dabo has made? Hiring Brent Venables from Oklahoma as his defensive coordinator. They've been a staple on defense for years now. Chad Morris on offense. It was a record-setting offense with Taj Boyd, Sammy Watkins. He leaves, and you promote from within Tony Elliott, Jeff Scott, and really they don't skip a beat on the offensive side of the ball. And you talked about it earlier, Adnan. This was a team in the past that always had talent, but would lose games that they were supposed to win, like a lot of programs around the country. Now they win those games. They've won 66 of the last 68 games against unranked opponents. 8 straight 10-win seasons, 4 straight ACCs and playoff appearances. It is the model of consistency, like to do what Joey said, a lot like what Nick Saban has been able to build at Alabama. And that's why, to me, right now, with Urban Meyer retiring, Dabo Swinney's now one of the top 2 coaches in college football.
Yeah, and it goes back to the theme. It's not just recruiting. It's not just that enthusiastic personality. It's trust, communication, players. Try to find me one guy who doesn't like playing for Dabo Swinney. It doesn't feel like
and you
they
also
all
don't see guys getting a lot of trouble either throughout the years. No drug issues, no arrests. Yeah. I mean, it speaks a lot about the integrity they have in that program, and that starts from the top down.
Back to your point about discipline, what Dabo's been able to bring. All right, lots more coming up here in College Football Live, but do not forget, when it comes to College Football Playoff National Championship Weekend in the Bay Area, it's going to be the place to be whether your favorite team is in the game or not. Learn about all the events and festivities planned for CFP's championship campus at collegefootballplayoff.com. Do not miss out on
Clemson and Alabama once again meeting for a championship. Lawrence lofts it up to the end zone. Touchdown, Clemson.
Looking deep in the end zone. Touchdown!
There was a feeling of inevitability that these 2 giants would clash again.
We're going to Cali, baby! The national championship. Monday on ESPN.
All right, we have quit the lineup of shows for this week and continues tomorrow morning. I'll be hosting the ESPNU and SEC Network Media Days. Can't wait for that, 11:30 a.m. Eastern.
Did you just plug yourself?
Yeah, I'm also hosting Championship Drive, 8 Eastern, ESPN2.
Wow. All right,
Cinephile, check it out, ESPN app, iTunes, all leading up to Monday. I'm hosting College Football Live at 1:30. Jesse and Joy will be a part of that. College Game Day at 3. That one's Reese Davis. And then Championship Drive leading into the game. We got that covered, right? A little bit of me roll here.
It was Adnan in the game.
Time now for a little bit of pick-up. Let's go through major players, major positions. Wide receivers first. Judy or Higgins? Who do you got, Joey?
Yeah, I like Higgins. Very talented, but the problem is he's 6'4". I'm going Jerry Judy, who's 6'1". Someone has to represent for the smaller, faster receiver out here, Jesse, that you apparently don't like.
Yeah, I'm going T. Higgins because the go routes are such a big part of Clemson's offense, and Patrick Surtain got picked on by CeeDee Lamb.
I'm going Higgins. Higgins is going to win the 50-50 balls because he's 6'4".
See how the short guy gets
disrespected? No question about that.
You can't do that.
Faster, shorter guy. Remember that, Adnan.
I'm with you on that. Williams or Wilkins? Let's talk defense.
Ooh, Williams. Williams, he's the Warren Sapp / Ndamukong Suh. I love Williams. I'm taking him all day.
I'm going Quentin Williams over everybody. Watching what he did against Oklahoma, Quentin Williams over every other player you guys got.
He's also not the tallest defensive lineman out there.
He goes small and he goes big.
He's like 6'1", right? 6'1".
He's the most dominant, disruptive force on defense, I think, in college football. I'm going Quentin Williams.
All right, Tua or Lawrence, Jess?
I'm going to go Tua, and this is tight, but watching his ankle against Oklahoma, he got his mobility back. That's going to be big, especially against this Clemson pass.
I like Tua also. We saw him win the national championship last season. We know he can do it. I'll take Tua.
I like Trevor because he has Higgins, who he can throw to with the 50-50 balls. Yes, Trevor Lawrence throwing on target. He's not going to hold the ball, and he's not scared of pressure.
Yeah. Shorter, faster receiver, Adnan. Remember that when you're recruiting. Shorter, faster.
I'll remember that tomorrow.
Remember when he's playing?
I see you guys lifting it. By the way, I saw Marcus Spears in the treadmill this morning. Watch out.
Is the treadmill still there?
He was slowing up.
Did you have to wash your eyes out?
What was the speed?
I'm like, if he's going intervals, I'm getting out of here. Hammer curls, we're fine. For Jesse Paul and Joey Gowie, Jonathan Bell, my man.